Tonight, here in Oswego, the Habitat for Humanity has hired a new executive director. We'll tell you who.
Also, an update for booster shots, see who this affects and how New York State is handling it.
And we spoke to Chancellor Malatras. He's starting a new initiative to help the healthcare shortage. We have more updates regarding this program.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Well, there's all sorts of
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Eric Dragowski.
And I'm Megan Trubia.
In an effort to combat the growing shortage of nurses in the country, SUNY Chancellor Jim Malatras announced a $3 million SUNY Nursing Emergency Training Fund to enroll more students in such programs. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics projects that 11 million additional nurses are needed to prevent future shortages from occurring in the healthcare industry.
Employment opportunities for nurses are set to increase 15% by 2026. According to the American Journal of Medical Quality, there will be a shortage of more than 39,000 registered nurses in New York by the year 2030. We spoke to SUNY Chancellor Jim Malatras, who says even though SUNY Oswego doesn't offer a nursing program, it will still benefit the school greatly.
Well, there's all sorts of associated programs. I know there's some allied health programs that Oswego has, which is a transition degree into nursing and other things. So we want to use students from Oswego to build a pipeline too. Maybe they want to go into nursing. Let's get them excited about that.
SUNY also launched a nursing recruitment campaign with the slogan, "Be a Hero," which can be found on SUNY's new website, specifically created for informing students about the 70+ programs located throughout the state.
SUNY Oswego is reporting 19 COVID cases in the current 14-day period, bringing the total to 491 positives this semester. Jim Malatras says faculty, students, and staff made a lot of difficult choices this year, but those choices have paid off and the vibrant community of Oswego is set to make a comeback in the spring. Malatras says it is great having in-person campus life back and wants to keep it up.
Governor Hochul is also working to help the shortage with a new scholarship program called the Nurse for Our Future. This scholarship will cover tuition for 1,000 new healthcare students working to get their RNs at a SUNY or CUNY school. She says this new scholarship is important to step in training more nurses and begin bringing them into the healthcare system.
As Oswego continues to monitor cases on campus, staffing shortages and a surge of patients are pushing Central New York's healthcare system to the limit, and things could get even worse. Around 200 workers may be out of a job Monday if they don't get their first shot of the vaccine. This comes after a court ruling that rejected vaccine exemptions based on religious beliefs. An Onondaga County hospital is seeing the highest number of hospitalizations since February. Upstate Hospital's emergency room director says this is the worst crisis he's seen in his career.
Boosters are getting boosters themselves as dozens of cases pushed back against the federal vaccine mandate and are now in the hands of one court. Britt Conway reports.
The COVID-19 vaccination push continues, and there was a 47% boost in first vaccinations over last week, more than double what it was a month ago, partly because younger kids are now eligible. And boosters have gotten their own boost. More than 31 million fully vaccinated adults have gotten a booster. That's about 1 in 6. More than half of them are people 65 and up. But Wednesday, Moderna said it filed for emergency use authorization with the FDA for its booster for all adults. And Pfizer has submitted for EUA for its booster too. The FDA could make a decision on Pfizer's authorization any day, while the CDC's advisors are set to meet Friday to talk about it. But some states don't want to wait. At least 11 states expanded booster eligibility ahead of the federal green light. Some of the same states pushing back against the federal government's vaccine mandate aimed at companies with more than 100 employees. 34 challenges were filed nationwide, some against, others looking for a more stringent mandate. They'll be consolidated and, after a lottery, decided by the conservative-leaning, Ohio-based 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. The fate of President Joe Biden's most controversial push to date to get Americans vaccinated, now out of his hands. I'm Britt Conway, reporting.
The Biden administration is also seeking to boost vaccine manufacturing to increase global supply. The U.S. seeks to produce at least 1 billion doses a year.
Here in New York, Governor Kathy Hochul announced anyone who is 18 and older and lives in a high transmission area can now get the booster shot if they choose. The CDC recommends booster shots 6 months after the second dose of Pfizer or Moderna, or 2 months after the Johnson & Johnson dose. For anyone concerned about the availability of the vaccine they initially received, U.S. regulators approved mixing and matching of shots, making it simpler to get another dose.
Praised as being the model for getting relief to those who are still struggling, New York is the first state to receive approval from the U.S. Treasury for the Homeowners Assistance Fund program. The fund will distribute nearly $539 million to assist homeowners who are at the greatest risk of foreclosure or displacement. Hochul says the statewide outreach program will allocate the money soon be unveiled to provide critical information to at-risk homeowners so they are ready to apply soon as the windows open.
The Oswego County Habitat for Humanity will be welcoming a new executive director. Samuel Raponi comes to this position with more than 25 years of experience in construction management within the home building industry. President Deborah Giroux says she's looking forward to having Raponi's leadership to support the mission of Habitat and is excited to utilize his previous experience to help empower families and create community awareness to housing revitalization and neighborhood stability.
Speaking of local news, we have Lane Russell here to give us the lowdown on all things Oswego.
Good evening, I'm Lane Russell with this week's edition of What's Up Oswego. With the stress of classes, living through a pandemic, and finals on the horizon, many students may be having a tough time coping with the stress. SUNY Oswego continued their commitment to students' mental health with an event held tonight hosted by Oswego alumni Jamie Lozinski. Lozinski is the Director of Communications at Oswego Health and the founder of Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, known as SAVE. She says one of the most important things that we can do is to simply be there for each other.
I mean, the biggest thing that you can do, is just be there and listen. Non-judgmental, non-opinionated, and just be that ear, because sometimes your friends just need a vent.
One of the things that Lozinski also recommends is exercising and being with friends, and SUNY Oswego has numerous opportunities for you to get active this weekend. All day Friday, multiple exercise programs will be held in the Cooper Fitness Center, including a surprise fitness fun event at 11:30, core conditioning and training at 3, and to round out the day, we have yoga at 4 p.m. If you're looking to play some games, Lee Hall will be open for recreational basketball from 12 to 8 on both Saturday and Sunday, and to cap off the weekend, open skating will be available from 6 until 7:30 on Sunday night inside the Deb. If you're looking to catch a show with friends, you're in luck because Del Sarte is back in action. The college's long-running dance company is presenting their first in-person recital since the COVID-19 pandemic began. The show is titled The Return of Del Sarte and will take place in Waterman Theater at 7 p.m. on November 20th and 2 p.m. on November 21st. Tickets are available on tickets.oswego.edu for $10. Now it's time for our cutest story of the night, the Pet of the Week, made possible thanks to our friends at the Oswego County Humane Society. This is Tuesday. She's a quirky and reserved cat that would love to come home to a quiet and loving household. Plus, she's adorable. If you'd like to adopt Tuesday or any of the other furry friends at the Oswego Humane Society, you can fill out an adoption application on their website at oswegohumane.org. But that's all I have for you tonight on What's Up Oswego. Meg, Eric, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Lane. So cute. I wish that I could adopt too.
That was definitely a really cute cat.
Coming up later tonight, we have an update on Ahmed Abari and Rittenhouse trials as the two continue to work towards a final verdict.
But first, after the break, Storm Team 10 meteorologist Braden Edalessi will help you with all the weather forecasts. Stay tuned.
When you are in space, you can't run down to the store to buy parts. You have to improvise with what you have on your mission. Making is when there is something new that was not in existence at the beginning of the day. Okay. It's an incredible sense of accomplishment when you have made something. That's why I make. Now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Total Baldwin faces 32 charges.
Saturday, I went to Woodchuck Saloon.
Too much temperature change.
1310 meteorologist.
2 as well. Visions from Tanner Spink.
Go to 2 and 1.
2 with 6 and 10 on the year.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Storm Team 10 meteorologist Braden Leslie here with your weather forecast for this evening. So I'm sure you've noticed some windier conditions here in Oswego, and these are here to stay. There will be a chance for higher winds tomorrow throughout the day, and these windy conditions can be uncomfortable outside at times as you're making your way outside, creating blustery conditions, especially with the chance of precipitation, which we will see tomorrow. There's a chance for rain and snow, a mix, with temperatures stretching down into the low 30s overnight. There will be a chance for a mix of both rain and snow as our precipitation. And speaking of precipitation, next week, as SUNY Oswego students make their way home next weekend for Thanksgiving break, travel may be impacted by weather as there will be precipitation moving into the area around that time, but we'll look at that a little later. Right now, let's check out the temperatures. So right now in Oswego, it's around 44 degrees here in Oswego, and across the state, it is the same situation. Temperatures are in the upper 30s, lower 40s, and these will be dropping throughout the evening. Compared to our downstate counterparts, temperatures upstate are relatively cooler, and they will be dropping throughout the night. So this evening, temperatures will be dropping around 34 degrees this evening, and there will be a chance of precipitation, a mix between rain and snow tonight as we go into this evening. Breezier conditions throughout the evening, which will affect the morning commute tomorrow morning, especially combined with that precipitation. So if we look at tomorrow, the morning commute will be affected with that precipitation moving in. Rain showers will most likely be on the forecast as temperatures will be rising going through the day, so morning commutes will be affected mostly by rain and not snow. And by the evening, as you're making your way home, temperatures will be rising up to the 40s, and precipitation will move out of the area by the afternoon, creating clouds will remain in the area, but creating drier conditions throughout the day. And just to recap this, temperatures will be slowly increasing throughout the day to around 41 degrees. Cloudy conditions will be in the forecast, will be expected in the later part of the day, in the midday, with precipitation moving out towards the midday. So next week, SUNY Oswego students, most of them will be moving out, going home for Thanksgiving break next week on Tuesday. Most students will be going home on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, there is a chance for precipitation that day with a mix of rain and snow and lower temperatures throughout the day, stretching down to almost 32 degrees, which is freezing point. So snow could be a possibility. So just be mindful as you're driving out of Oswego, there is a chance for precipitation as you make your way home. And tomorrow, there will be a chance for precipitation. Windier conditions will be apparent tomorrow. And before this precipitation moves out, there will be on the weekend, on Tuesday, there will be a chance for snow as temperatures will be dropping in the earlier part of the week. So tune in after the break for more information on news and sports here on WTOP 10 Nightly News.
more confident and a lot more sure of my abilities. At Oswego is where I've really found myself and became the person I am.
You work hard and you play hard. I love the environment of SUNY Oswego.
Made her college years possible, opening that education savings account when she was little, spearheading campus tours, and deciphering financial aid. If you can ace planning for college, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt spares Julius Jones, granting him from the death sentence for a 1999 murder he says he didn't commit. The halt comes after years of protests over Jones' death sentence, now ramming up even more support as the execution date got closer. Support even got international after an EU ambassador wrote a letter to the governor advocating for Jones. White House spokesman Jen Psaki says more on the effects of the death sentence.
The president has made clear over time that he has grave concerns about whether capital punishment as currently implemented is consistent with the values that are fundamental to our sense of justice and fairness. And certainly as looking at a case like this, you reflect, and I think he and we all reflected on his point of view or his view and his policy position in that.
The Julius Jones trial has brought up more questions about how ethical execution-style punishment in America as the debate is ongoing. Travis McMichael, the man behind the trigger that killed Ahmaud Arbery, faces a cross-examination in the courtroom. Daryl Forges reports.
Do you recall what you said to the officer?
For 2 tense hours, in the trial of the men accused of murdering Ahmaud Arbery, the lead prosecutor went step by step,
was it like this?
Moment by moment, when cross-examining the man who pulled the trigger during one pivotal exchange. Defendant Travis McMichael was pressed on his claim that Arbery posed a threat to him.
Didn't threaten you in any way?
No.
Didn't verbally threaten you?
Not
like
verbally.
Yell at you?
Not verbally, no.
Didn't pull out a gun?
He did not pull out a gun.
Moment by moment, McMichael went through his actions that led up to the shooting. Prosecutor Linda Danikowski asked whether he could have taken other actions instead of using lethal force.
You could have just continued to drive behind Mr. Arbery and not even speak to him or confront him at all. And you could have stayed in your truck until he ran by and then driven away to go ahead and follow him, right?
I could have, yes.
Defense attorneys say the 3 men charged in the killing acted in self-defense, claiming they were trying to make a citizen's arrest after they suspected Arbery of burglary.
That was the person that I assumed that was committing the crime. That was the probable cause was him.
But Arbery's family says he was simply out for a jog in the area prior to the shooting.
He didn't have any facts on hand when he chose to pull the trigger. Not one time, but 3 times.
In Georgia, I'm Daryl Forges.
The defense team rests their case today as the men are charged with malice and felony murder. Ahmaud Arbery's mom says she is confident that they will get the guilty verdict.
The 12-juror panels concluded deliberating for the 3rd day today and are expected to resume tomorrow morning for the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. During the trial, protesters called 22 witnesses to show Rittenhouse provoked the incident. Rittenhouse testified in self-defense and broke down in tears during his testimony. The trial featured more than a dozen videos of the shooting and an analysis of Rittenhouse's actions.
Coming up in sports, Ben Kinney.
Benjamin, can you give us a quick preview?
Thanks, guys. The most valuable players for Major League Baseball were announced earlier this evening, and the Utica Comets look to tie a nearly 40-year record as they face the Rochester Americans. Highlights from that game coming up here on WTOP.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
Our son Arjun was born with cystic fibrosis. CF is a genetic disease that shortens lives. When the foundation was founded in 1955, children with CF rarely lived long enough to attend kindergarten. Today, thanks to the foundation's groundbreaking research, advocacy, and care, some people with CF are attending college, getting married, and starting families. We've made amazing progress, but until a cure is found for all people with CF, we will not stop. Help us add tomorrows. Visit cff.org today.
Is there a danger hiding in your home? Unused opioid medicines could harm your family. Find your unused opioid pills, patches, or syrups and learn how to dispose of them safely at fda.gov/drug disposal.
And welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News, everybody. I'm Ben Kinney with your sports update. The last time the Oswego State men's ice hockey team faced the Geneseo Ice Knights was in the SUNYAC Finals in 2020, where the Lakers were dealt a crushing 4-1 loss. Now the Lakers are looking for redemption this weekend against the #1 team in the country in Geneseo. Oswego State has not defeated Geneseo since February of 2018. The two will face off Saturday evening at the Deb with face-offs set for 7 o'clock. The Lakers will first have to travel to Brockport to take on the undefeated Golden Eagles in Brockport tomorrow night. The Oswego State women's hockey team were supposed to face off in their annual food and toy drive against Canton tomorrow night at the Deb. Earlier today, it was announced that SUNY Canton has canceled all athletics, both home and away, until November 20th due to COVID protocols. The food and toy drive will now take place along with the teddy bear toss at Saturday's matinee matchup with Potsdam here at the Deb. You can catch both the men's and women's games on Saturday right here on WTOP. After much anticipation, the Baseball Writers Association of America has announced the most valuable players for the American and National Leagues. Phillies right fielder Bryce Harper took home the award for the National League, making him the 5th player to win the award with 2 different teams. And no surprise here, in a unanimous decision, Angels designated hitter and pitcher Shohei Ohtani takes home the award for the American League. The 27-year-old also becomes only the 2nd Japanese-born player to be named MVP. The last Japanese-born MVP was Ichiro Suzuki. He took home the award in 2001. To say the Utica Comets have started the season on a high note, well, that would be an understatement. Entering last night, the top American Hockey League affiliate of the New Jersey Devils had won the first 10 games they played this season. The Red Hot Comets will travel to Rochester last night, and they faced off against the Americans to try to tie an AHL record for the best start set by the Amerks back in the 1984-85 season. It was a back-and-forth game with Utica striking early in the first period off an Arnie Talviti goal. Rochester would show some life in the second period with 2 unanswered goals. The Comets would respond later in the second with 2 unanswered goals of their own to seal the deal and win their 11th straight game. The Comets look to break the record and remain undefeated when they return to the Adirondack Bay Center in Utica on Friday. Now to the West Coast we go as the Seattle Kraken face the Chicago Blackhawks for the first time in their history. Seth Jones of Chicago would strike first, netting his 300th NHL point early in the second period. A beautiful goal there. And then the one that they call Cat, Alex DeBrincat, will find the back of the net to put the Hawks up by 2 on the near breakaway chance there. And then right in the second period, Marc-Andre Fleury flashes some leather, shows why he was named the Vezina Trophy winner last year. Just look at that incredible save by Fleury. Just under halfway through the final frame, Patrick Kane gets a beautiful pass from Kurashev and puts it right up where Grandma hides the cookies, top shelf. And that would put the Hawks up by 3. The Kraken would attempt to make a comeback, but they would fall just short. Chicago scoring an empty net goal. This will make the 4th win in a row for Chicago under new head coach Derek King. Hawks really turning their season around after changing head coaches.
Thanks, Ben. I know you were talking a lot about the Oswego hockey games this weekend. Can you give us a quick recap on that?
Yeah, Geneseo coming up Saturday. That's going to be the big one. Geneseo, #1 team in the country right now. They're undefeated. They have a really, really strong team, so it's really going to be a good game to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I definitely look forward to going, and I really hope everyone goes too. But with everyone going home for the Thanksgiving season, can you give us a little preview of what people should be looking out for?
Yes, there will be a chance for precipitation on the day that most people will be leaving, which will be Tuesday. Most students will be making their way out of SUNY Oswego on that day, so they just want to be careful when driving and leaving the Oswego area that there will be a chance as they head home that day specifically. And on Monday, there will also be a chance for precipitation, so people are leaving early then. And then Thanksgiving Day, there will be calmer conditions. Right now they're looking cloudy, but it is a week out, so take it with a grain of salt. It could be uncertain as of now, but that is what we will be looking at for next week.
Thank you. I know I look forward to going home, and I hope all of you guys too. But that's all we have for our report tonight. Make sure to stay tuned for Out on Our Own in Oswego.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great night.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
It's me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Here at WTOP, we pride ourselves on delivering you all the news you need to know from the day's events. Whether it's happened on Capitol Hill or right here in Oswego, we make sure you know all about it. We keep you up to date on all your favorite Oswego and professional sports.
And our Storm Team 10 meteorologists will make sure that you know exactly what weather you're up against when you start your day.
Every Monday through Thursday night, make sure to tune in to Channel 10.2, because at WTOP, we don't just tell you the news.
We are
the news.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.